There is further word on Becky Lynch, and it's tied tightly into news about Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair that we're going to be talking about a little bit later, as well as some potential news about Nikki Cross as well. Much like in the build-up to last month's Money in the Bank, we're already starting to hear a lot of hype as we head into this Saturday's WWE Summerslam 2021 about the name Becky Lynch, no longer Rebecca Quinn. This isn't unusual. Everybody is always excited for the concept of Becky Lynch pretty much at all times. We've got quite a lot of people in this chat who are very excited to see her back, and one who really isn't. That said, the main update I'm going to be giving is very similar to my previous one. There are, at current, no plans to see Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Now, Becky Lynch will be at SummerSlam. I can say that for certain. The reports are already out there, but it's much in the same way that she was at Money in the Bank. It's much in the same way that she was at WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, and more events that haven't been mentioned, including some Raws and some SmackDowns. The plan at current is for Becky to just be backstage, but based on her current training schedule and the word from backstage, she's essentially reached the point of fit, cleared, and ready to go whenever the WWE want to call on her. To put it simply, the only thing that is preventing Becky Lynch from being on WWE TV right now is that the WWE have decided not to have her on TV right now. The main reason they've made that choice is for storyline reasons. They're waiting for the right time. That's a pretty big difference from where we were even as recently as last month. Now, as we know, things can change. The whole concept of the wrestling journalist saying, oh, but things change whenever their things go wrong, it is actually genuinely a thing. We've seen it for every wrestling journalist. There are two things, even just in this installment of Spoiler Warning, which could affect the expected arrival time of the Irish Lass Kicker, or the Man, as she of course became. We have quite a bit to say about a current situation with Nikki Cross that I would probably best describe as treacherous. There's some thin ice going on there that we will be talking about a bit later. We also have rumours now that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair might not be competing at SummerSlam. In addition to that, we're still seeing Rhea Ripley struggling to connect with audiences. Formerly the Raw Women's Champion, that championship has now been moved away from her. With all of this in mind, and the generally low fan perception of Monday Night Raw right now, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Vince McMahon pull the trigger now. Especially when you consider that we have CM Punk hyping up and ready to go on AEW Rampage. They're out of time. If they want to make the fans care again, it might be time for the biggest return that they can deliver. John Cena? Nothing compared to Becky Lynch. Goldberg? Don't make me laugh. If you want somebody to actually take the fight to AEW, you really only have one choice, and that's Becky Lynch. The plan, at last I checked, was for Becky Lynch to return to action at around the same time as the draft, and I've made multiple videos on YouTube about that exact fact. But maybe SummerSlam is the time when Vince needs to press the panic button. Roman can't do it all solo, after all. Kuro says Becky's been backstage for most SmackDowns with the baby, according to Fightful. Recently, yes. Basically, she's essentially on tour with them for the actual TV shows, but not necessarily for the live shows, and she's very well protected, if you get what I mean about like COVID and so on and so forth. Ed says, what about Hater? Seems she looks enough like Becky for the internet. I like the phrase enough for the internet. I like it, and I may steal it. Because here's the thing. The tiniest thing is more than enough for the internet. It's a ridiculous concept. Eleanor said, I cannot wait for Becky's return. I personally can't either. I don't think it's just the fact that I'm Irish that really plays it out, or at least I have some Irish blood. And more the fact that Becky Lynch was always the one for me, and I mean this in like a wrestling sense. Her style, her promos, her vulnerability. The fact that the story was so cohesive, it was magnificent. Noob says, Becky's been trolling us for the past 7 months. Vince McMahon better do something. He better bring back Becky Lynch and a certain Empress as well. I think honestly, let's let Asuka take some time away. Jay Quick says, I bet Vince is really ready to hit the panic button. Yeah, he basically just did with NXT after all. And hey NXT, yeah, we're just gonna shove you under here. And now if we can just make you just keep quiet, just keep quiet. Yep, there we go. There we go. Goodbye, NXT. Megan says, imagine if it's Nikki Bella instead of Becky. Wrestling Twitter might implode. Possibly, but at the same time, Edge is getting big cheers, so I don't think it's necessarily a big negative anymore. I really don't. I think Nikki Bella would actually get quite a good response, considering she is actually a pretty good wrestler. Noob says, Vince McMahon's been pressing the panic button too many times this year, from John Cena to Edge to Rhea Ripley. That is kind of fair. That is kind of a fair comment. Elijah says, it feels unpredictable. If Nikki shows up for the Raw Women's belt instead of Becky, it would definitely feel unpredictable. I don't think people will be happy about it, but it would definitely feel unpredictable.